Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello and welcome to the Old Farm Bus, back of the bus sessions. I've got an absolutely gorgeous guest with me today. I'm going to be honest, we've done this twice now. We had a little bumblebee coming in for a little fight. We had somebody knock on, I need a picture with you, mate. But, you know, we've saved it. We've only got a few minutes in, so there's still a lot to go from this. But Karina, welcome to the Old Farm Bus.
Thank you for having me.
Woo!
Pleasure to be here.
Maybe we just need to buy an audience in sometime. When
Maybe.
just for that moment, I can shout the guest name. They can
Yeah.
all shout, yeah, and then they can go.
And then they're done.
Yeah. You've done your duty, guys. So, how on earth have you been? Because I know you've had a roller coaster through all of this. You've actually had Corona.
I have, yeah.
We've been talking quite a bit before this,
Yeah.
and mental health and lots of avenues. So let's start on, how have you been since the whole lockdown?
So when it first happened, I was obviously it was terrible what was happening in the world, and obviously people were losing their lives. But when I heard about the lockdown, I was still very positive, and I was thinking, oh, this is a great opportunity to write.
Yeah.
And read and learn and things, and just spend time doing that, and not do the things that are kind of not adding value to our lives. Going out and shopping, spending money when we don't need to, going out and drinking.
Do you know this
what I
is
mean?
quite a rarity? Because like the most people I spoke to, as soon as they found out the news, they just went alarm bells and started screaming and saying it's the end and that.
Yeah.
For somebody so powerful and in mind to go, well, what about silver lining? Like, let's just get into my poetry a bit more, get into the music, make a film, do something exciting and new that I wouldn't have the opportunity to do.
Yeah. But I think,
Wicked.
but I think that comes from, that's kind of my mindset.
Yeah.
When I'm well. That's my mindset. Because there's no point in spending time worrying about things that you can't change. And kind of the key to everything is acceptance.
Yeah.
Accepting things. Everything is as it should be. Do you know what I mean? I do a lot of Buddhist reading.
That's perfect, because that's sort of like another philosophy and spirituality that really helped me along my way, because constantly fighting against the what is and wanting to battle always on that, I really had to sort of implement something new in my life, and I fell into as we've just been speaking about, psychedelics and new ways of thinking and Buddhism. So what pushed you into this path? I'm sure we're going to go into some deep.
Of, these thought processes.
Well, because you've got such a conscious mind in my eyes. Like, speak to you, and I'm just like, there's something about you I'm into, and I think it's really fascinating. But all the time I meet these people, there's a big history there, or there's some story, or there's a background, or there's something that they go, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and then I fell here. Because that's what happened to me, essentially. There was a lot of pain, a lot of hurt. There was a story there, and it built up who I am today. Is it similar for you?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think we've got enough time for me to go through everything. But I think certainly, and it's that thing again, isn't it? Like,
we got time, baby.
It's in like China, where they don't use the word crisis. Crisis means opportunity. And so obviously, for the longest time, I will probably get into race and stuff, so like issues with my identity and stuff definitely fed into my mental health issues, and for the longest time it was just very difficult to understand, to see a way past it. And then that's probably when I just started reading. Okay.
What was sort of a book that you first got and thought, wow, this is speaking to me?
The first book that I really enjoyed was, there's one that's not actually, let me go back a little bit.
Okay.
So my husband at the time he found Buddhism, so he became a young man's Buddhist leader.
Wow.
It was a leader of the young man's sect of Buddhism in Derby.
Incredible.
So obviously he had all the literature, so I started reading it. I didn't get involved in doing the chanting and stuff, because I don't know, it just felt so alien, because that's not what we're used to, is it? But I read, and it resonated with me. So that was probably the start of thinking in that way. But then probably the next book which isn't actually a spiritual book, but it's actually really great, and I recommend it. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah.
You read it?
Not read it, but I've audio. I've got like that and Power of Now. Audible, sorry.
Yeah, I can't read. I just fall asleep.
Oh, but I'm the same, man. Exactly. I feel a bit bad a lot of the time because all my friends like list these books, and I'm like, I literally sometimes have to read a page. I'm dyslexic, so writing and reading has been always a struggle. But I read a page and I forget what I've just read, so I have to go back through it.
And it takes forever. And
somebody talks to me, or I watch a documentary. I'm like, I know exactly what's just happened. That's interesting.
It's true. I did used to read the Buddhism books, but that was years ago. So that's before we even flipping had.
Kindles, and
It wasn't a thing. I'm old out here. So, but Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, brilliant book. Power of Now also.
That is a great book, isn't it?
It is very good. The Untethered Soul.
I was experiencing a lot of psychosis and schizophrenia at one point in my life because I'd gone a bit too far down the line of psychedelics and things. I don't think you can get addicted to the substance, but you can get addicted to the experience that it provides you with. So I was following that, and friends would be coming over to the house, and it'd be me and a friend, and then they'd go home and live their life, and it'd be the next day me and another friend. And that happened every other day for a long time. So then I was really struggling with identity, who I was, what I was going through, and it was one of them moments I was like, right, I've got to find something. Looked online, found the Power of Now, Audible, and maybe one day it literally started changing my life. Just them moments of like really knowing how to ground yourself, put yourself in the present moment all the time. And it was like, oh, of course, I'm always in here. And I was just simple things. I like the very start of the book, he does a little like, what is it, a fable or just a story or just some kind of beautiful philosophical story, and he talks about like a homeless person, and he's sitting on this treasure chest, and every day he's asking people outside for money, and have you got any money, and then one guy comes over to him and says, I haven't got any money to give you, but what is in the chest? What's in that box? And he says, I don't know, I've just been sitting on it. And he opens it up and he's got some gold in there. And it's like, he always had it. It was always with it. And it's a beautiful moment.
That's it. Everything's in there, isn't it? It's just about recognising it and tapping into it. But and so obviously a lot of meditation as well. A lot of meditating in terms of helping to become more conscious. We're all just energy, aren't we?
Do you mind me, how old are you?
I'll be 36 soon.
There's going to be a lot of people who just like the jaws have just dropped now, aren't they? You must get that all the time.
I know, literally all the time.
Shouldn't you be in school, young lady? What are you doing out here?
I'll be 36 in a couple of months. We're going to go camping at 9 Ladies. It'll be nice.
Oh, beautiful. But then, so you're 36 now. Like, what part of your 20s was that crazy time? Was that like going out partying years or era?
No, because I had my daughter when I was 21.
Right, okay.
So, but we still did go out and party. Crazy, to be fair. When she was a bit older, I went out quite a lot, to be fair. But I was still at work. I was still a mum, so I couldn't just completely go off the rails. Yeah,
I'm really excited to actually get into this podcast with you because we've got so like the music, I'm going to become a dad soon, like we've got the parenting, so many aspects we could go down. Like, what shall I throw at you first?
I don't know.
Maybe my shoe.
There's a lot, isn't there?
I do like the spiritual side though. Like, do you feel you had that before you had your daughter as well then, or had that been a new learning?
I think it probably came after, in terms of me actually tapping into it.
Because interesting, like, so you say the guy you were with was part of the Buddhist movement, like, what was it he was in?
Yeah, he was a young man's leader, the Buddhist. It was Nichiren Buddhism.
And you're not still with that person, and for reasons I obviously don't know why.
We were together a long time. It's my daughter's dad.
Right, and like, because I always find, like, do you know, like in first world industry, when people get into spirituality or a religious belief or anything, they live it to its absolute full. And then it can sometimes disguise, but we are all just the same in this, like, around in the UK, we've grown up pretty much very similar sort of lives to an extent. Obviously there's a lot of like deprived areas, there's a lot of difference in there, but you know, what we're being told in education, what we're being told at certain places. And then, I don't like education. I'm sure we can dive into that. But then there gets to a stage where you get to about 20 and then you meet all your friends again. It's like one went off down this path, one went here, one went there. Yeah. And I met my friends that went down Buddhism route. Yeah. But they're like, I meditate like 9 hours a day now, I do this. Yeah. And I get it, but then there's also still that Ripley boy in them. They've still got like elements of like who they are deep down in their soul, and they try to pretend it doesn't exist.
Do you know? Chewing gum then. No,
does that make sense to you? I meet people along the way that I'm like, it's okay. It's good to go. I've got into spirituality. I felt this epiphany, or I had this mental. Problem that I was going through and I needed something, but then they can go like I have in my life the whole way that way, and you lose a bit of sense of who you actually are, if that makes sense.
So it's an escape, isn't it? That's just another way, same as people might drink or drug, and then
finding a clique or being a part of something.
I
know friends that have gone into cults and things. Genuinely, I
find that so interesting.
I do. They're my documentaries, man. That's crazy life,
because they're not all negative either.
No,
everyone has negative experiences, but obviously that's what we see. We just see the
it's more interesting to document though, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Do you know, like the Jim Jones one, the Wild Country one with Osho, there's so many fascinating ones that again had good principle, had great philosophy and idea, but then got taken over and sort of like manipulated into what a cult can be. I don't know enough stories of the successful ones actually. So
no, I don't. But just when I've heard people speak that used to be in cults, and then they will say, but actually, there was a lot of it was shit, but some of it was really, really good and helpful and helped me. Do you know what I mean? It was good to be part of something. Yeah. But in terms of like the spirituality thing, I think it's important not to. It's kind of something that adds to your existence rather than becomes your existence.
Yeah, I love what you just said then. I genuinely do, because I got the golden rule on my arm, but that's like taken a bit away from most. I mean, the golden rule is treat others as you wish to be treated.
Okay. And tell me what that is, the golden rule.
The golden rule, I heard it in a song, and that just sent me on a learning towards that. And it was this guy, he said, every day I'm measuring the hurt within the golden rule. And I didn't know what it was, so I was like, right, what's the golden rule? And in every religious scripture, which is like hundreds of religions, it all has one rule that like rules all rules, and it is that
it's all the same.
It is, it's saying treat others as you wish to be treated is the main rule, and then. If you look at the golden rule when you get home, like look at all the ways that the adaptation of that is being said, it's so poetic and beautiful, and that is my main philosophy. But then in all religions then, and all spirituality teachings, I've managed to sort of handpick the ones that suit me and handpick the ones that work for my life, rather than what I was trying to say before. When I got into Buddhism, I felt I had to literally become the Buddha essentially. But I think my learning from now is using them as mentors and using them as different guidances, what you just said there.
Yeah, however, you are the Buddha. We are all
the
Buddha.
It's about time somebody told me this.
Buddha isn't this figure. It's
be the Buddha.
What we are.
We are the Buddha.
Yeah, man.
I love you. And does this come out quite... Because I love your lyricism and I love who you are as a person. So have you managed to really channel that in your artistry and what you
probably
put
not
across?
Enough, like when it comes to... Oh, my leg's gone dead. When it comes to like what you see on my Instagram, that's just all like freestyles, just what I'm thinking about at the time. And so some of that might have more of this spiritual stuff, because that might be the frame of mind that I'm in at the time.
Where can people catch your stuff? It's Karina.
Catch my stuff in. My handle is it Karina Win? So KarinaCWin.
Just because I heavily urge or encourage people to go and check it out, because it is really cool. Just before having you on, and I know we know each other anyway, so I'm like, I'm cool. I don't need to get a big list ready or anything. I'll just vibe it. But then I thought I'll watch some of your stuff on Instagram, and it is breathtakingly good.
Bless
You've got.
Bless you.
And I suppose that's another element we can get into, your performance art. But you're so in on it, you're so there and so exciting to watch.
But it's me, so
you mean it.
I do mean it, because I do it because it's cathartic.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. I don't do it because I think, I really want hundreds of people to say, I like that.
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? It'd be great to be able to do it and make money out of it and
not
have to do my work, although I love my work. But that's not the reason. I've got no choice. It's not a choice.
Is it a passion project to you now more than anything then?
I change my mind all the time with what I want to do with it. And that's why I've got so much stuff recorded. And like again, when you were saying about the spirituality, I've got so much stuff recorded and going down different kind of routes and talking about different things. And I'm forever in my mind but what do I want to put out? What do I want to portray?
You sounded like you're going into freestyle then, and I was like, yes, man.
But that's bad though, because then you end up not putting anything out, and that's what I keep doing.
But I think my greatest lesson recently, or feeling, was the moment I turned it into just the passion project aspect. Because I probably have friends that will be listening to this or listen to my stuff and go, bloody hell, you could have refined that, or you shouldn't have put that out so early. But it's just because I love doing it so much like you. It's cathartic. But then I just see it as a project done, project out, and I move on. And it actually, because I was thinking of likes and shares and all them things before, it started to taint it for me. It started to ruin what I first got into.
Definitely.
And I got into it for a pure reason, which I was writing about a friend that I'd lost, and I never experienced writing before because I was told dyslexic, stupid, all the education put me down so much. And I'd only got into it till I was about 22 when I actually got into any form of music.
That's late, isn't it?
At all.
It's quite late.
22. I'm 27 now, so I'm about 5 years in. Just loved it with a passion, but it's because it gave me, I felt like I had a superpower with writing. I could get into all them areas of my life that I didn't understand. So I just loved it on that front. Then I started getting the likes. I started getting people watch it. Like one video got to 30,000 or something like that, and you're like, oh, dad. and you can chase that for a while, and then I meet the friends that are into them chasing them goals, which is fine if that's what you're going for. But I realised it wasn't feeding my soul. It wasn't who I am essentially. So going back round and being like, oh yeah, I loved coming up with an idea. Do you know when you get a lyric in your head and you're like, let's go, let's run with that and come up with a film idea for it. There's no greater feeling than that for me, genuinely.
It's good.
Have you got many films out or anything? Have you got anything? Do you want one? I'm happy. I'll say it on here for you. If you watch this later, I'll do one for free for you because I like your stuff. Genuinely,
thank you.
It's yours.
Cheers.
I'll give you a film. Nobody else is getting that. Don't you be watching this? I'm like, where's my free film? I've actually got local healers coming tonight to do a really weird film in the woods that we're doing.
Local healers.
Yeah.
What's that group?
Ty Healy and Nay Loco, they're like a hip-hop duo. Really good.
Good names.
Partner is Harley Blue. Have you heard of Harley Blue at all? Wow, they're really, really, really good, Nottingham artists. Right. And it's kind of trip-hop sort of stuff. So very conscious lyrics, very beautiful zenness about them, but also in your face a bit. I love it.
Spot on.
You'd be well into it. I'll play you some later.
Yeah, good. That sounds good.
So going into having corona though, I'm just interested on that front because I've not met anybody yet that's actually had it.
Okay,
I was on the front of, I didn't know it was even of existence. I was like, is this corona thing real? What's going on here? Because I've not met anybody, and I've not even met anybody that knew anybody. But you're my first. Broke my virginity to it.
It's not that interesting, Mikey. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. But how did you feel? What sort of
So in retrospect, at work around about Christmas time, lots of people were getting unwell. People that wouldn't normally get unwell.
Right. Okay.
The main thing was a really bad sore throat and a cough. Right, in Christmas, lots of people going off sick.
Christmas, okay.
Probably around about February. I had a headache constantly for weeks. My throat was so sore, cough, absolutely knackered, temperature. But then I got better again, and then those symptoms came back again a couple of months later. And the second time they came back, everyone was talking about corona.
Yeah.
And it was a thing.
Right.
So I'm a mental health nurse, so because I had to be off because we had the corona symptoms, I was able to get tested. So I got tested and it came back positive.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I was like, oh shit. Oh, I've actually got it.
It's a thing, yeah. This is real.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I wasn't really very poorly, and like I was saying to you earlier, like the more initially, like people were like talking about it being not a real thing, or it's like
I've had friends on that scale,
and initially I was just like, nah, I'm not even thinking about that because it's not worth it, because we don't know, there's not enough information out there. But now the more I speak to people, the more questions
are arising.
I've got. Yeah, about its validity and where it came from, and even not about just where it came from, but the way that it's being managed and how
I've heard that's shocking.
But I mean, in terms of how this virus, how governments may be using this opportunity to implement different agendas under the guise of it being the fact of the coronavirus.
I mean, again, like I am so open because the amount of things that keep coming out now, if it's Epstein Island or whatever conspiracy, and I say that very lightly, whatever conspiracy it is, as soon as it's true, it gets taken out of the conspiracy box and put into, oh, actually that was a real thing, but all the other conspiracies are conspiracies, like forget them, but this one you are allowed to take out now and you are allowed to talk about. So now that's happened so many times, I'm like, get that box of conspiracies, put it there, and let's start talking about them openly and honestly, because it needs to be. There is hidden. Like my sister works as a human rights lawyer, and she's an incredible person. But she's even like, I get documents sent over, and I know that it's dangerous. Like there's stuff that's hidden from the government. There's stuff that's like you can't see these files, and it's like, well, they're public information. No, you're not allowed to see them. Okay,
redacted
then.
information.
So
It's,
there's a lot of hidden agendas, and I somebody said the other day, like if you want to find a problem, just search for the money. You search down the root of the money, you'll find your crime. You'll find the root of the problem. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like we were talking about as well, like the fact that now they're going to be easing lockdown, and they're choosing to open pubs.
Don't get me, don't, because I'll get in a rant.
I'm going to go there. They're opening pubs where people have been wasted.
Yeah.
Leaning all over each other and spitting everywhere.
Yes, they do.
Not washing their hands when they've been to the toilet.
Yeah.
But we won't open a gym.
It's just because, like what you were saying before as well, there's so many ways of making it safe and like making people again. What my gym are trying to implement is like you got a book to go in, and they're gonna have 50 at a time. Book them all in. You get this hour slot. We're gonna have you standing in these. It makes so much sense, and again, so good for my mental health. I go in for an hour. I train my arse off, but I also see my friends and see good people. And then I leave, and that's my day sorted. I can literally eat well and sleep well, and I'm good.
But again, this is what again is now making me think about the fact that there's more to it, because why are they not wanting us to be well? Why are they wanting us to do the things that damage?
The things that like, brain numb us. The things that just make us go all like zombie-like and give me that beer.
Exactly. Mate. Oh my God, I don't know.
I mean, I'm kind of happy, like in the terms of when something big happened, everybody did as instructed for a minute, because it's important, I think, to go, there's this big thing happening, guys. If you can all comply for a second, just stick at home and we'll work it out. I'm so happy with the amount of people and the response to what happened. I think we've got a good-hearted, mostly good people. Because if it was just carnage, that would have been very confusing as well.
I know, and that is interesting, isn't it? Because when you see it's been depicted in films, things like this, pandemics, it's just
like the Joker.
Everything's on fire. Everyone's looting everything.
I think we did particularly well as a country, and I really like the way that people pretty much complied and got in with it. But I like also the fact that we've had our settlement, we've had the time of calm, and now people are asking questions, and they are standing up for themselves, and they're saying, hang on a minute, you've not done this well, or you've not you can keep making the media make you look like you've done well, but I don't think you've actually done well.
Yeah.
And there's good people around that are willing to ask them questions and make sure that it's being looked at in the right way. Because
we have to.
Can't let them get off with it.
No, I know. But yeah, I agree.
I mean, I don't want to be... I think we're a clumsy country, and I think America's based on hate. Like, I think you've got Boris Johnson, who is pretty much... on a micro level, what the country can be like, well, you know, try and
but
this.
It's not really like that.
Do you not see it? No.
That's an act, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've read a lot and heard a lot of people speak, and they say he's actually a very calculated person.
Yeah.
He puts on that persona.
Well, I suppose he's got to be running the country.
Yeah, and he's a twat.
Yeah, he is a plonker.
Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
You are allowed to swear. Yeah, you've got no money now. You've demonetised my platform. But I see him as a daft human. And again, somebody that I don't want in power, but I don't actually like that position at all. I don't think anybody... There's better candidates, but I don't see it as a position that can be done well, because they're doing it on too much of a mass scale. Maybe 300, 400, 500 years ago, which really isn't that long ago. If you think of the oldest person now is 130 years old. So only 5 people ago, I'm talking 500 and 600 years, which is crazy thing to think. But it made sense to have kings and queens because it was tangible. You could look after that amount of people, which there weren't 66 million. But now there's 66 million and you're trying to put one set of rules to sort of trickle down. It doesn't make sense. But if you've got... I do believe in smaller communities, smaller government. Like, I'd like to see Ripley working together, going to their local council and actually coming up with their own rules and own ways of being. And this is what you've got to comply with in here. But I don't know if that's idealism. I don't know if that's...
I don't know. Is there anywhere in the world that's run like that?
Yeah, quite. Do you know what? The thing I'm very privileged, and I know it's my privilege and lucky with, I did a lot of travelling.
Right.
So I went to South Africa, I went to lots of places in Africa, Australia, lots of places. And there was lots of places in South Africa doing it, and it was just perfect. It was real living. It was genuine. We'll swap you some fish and we'll build your house, and they all work like that. And it's just smaller scale, and that's what we're evolutionary built for. It makes so much sense. So when you've got America, let's go, and you've got Donald Trump, this one man with his set of rules, with his set of people implying these rules, it doesn't make sense anymore. There's, I don't know how many million there, and such a massive scale. That job just doesn't make sense. I've heard it spoken about by somebody a lot more articulate and can do it, has a lot more knowledge in the old noggin than me. But from what I was listening to, it sat with me here. I was like, makes so much sense. Why is he doing that? Why are we putting a fashion show out every 4 years to try and get one man to try and rein it all? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And like, you know, there's also, just flick this back on, there's also so many people behind that face who are doing the puppets and doing the strings. It's a dangerous game, really.
It is, and like a lot of my friends are seriously looking at just going and buying land and making our own little communities.
Bring 'em here, man. Yeah. We've got a corner over there.
Seriously,
just a lot of us.
Just like making like their own little communities where we are self-sufficient and don't have to... Well, you're still going to have to adhere to some of the rules, aren't you? But
but you just got to make your own rules between each other. And I think that's such an important way to live by. We all build a moral compass up, and there should be some structure. There should be some way of understanding between yourselves. But then it's like, how else do we want to live? And implementing them and building a law system. So the thing there is structure, but then as soon as it becomes on mass scale, it's so easy to sort of tweak it to suit the 1%, let's say.
The banks.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And you could argue till you're blue in the face about it, couldn't you? But I've implemented my life now, learning all that, and then going on my like a Russell Brand rhythmical mic tirade. I'm going to change it up, man. But then I come back down to a level like, do you know what? I actually can't do it on my own. I can't do it in that way. But what I can do is change myself, change my surroundings, make my life as good as possible, but then hopefully that emanates.
And that's it. It starts from within, doesn't it? However, I do think that we do have the power to make changes, not just by changing ourselves. I think we do need to speak up. And
I agree
educate
completely.
People and start more conversations and debate and, like you were saying before, question things. Don't just blindly accept it for what it is and be like, oh, I'm not happy with the way it's run, but...
What I like to see is people being honest and reflecting and being in a position of, like, they've worked on themselves, though.
Yes.
And they know where they're at and they've got their gun in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because what I do see a lot of now, I don't know if it's the same on your social media platform or even when you're out with friends, but it's like, no, you're wrong, hang on, you're right, and the guns are all pointing in other directions. And it's like, do you know what? I'd get a lot more achieved, guys, if they were all pointing in the same direction where they should be. And it is of power. Like recently in America, let's talk.
Go on then.
Come on then. They put trillions of pounds into saving during the corona 3 months out into big business. They've bailed them all out straight away. They've sorted them in seconds. As soon as something hit, it's like, right, we can help big business out. Bam, let's go. It's like, hang on a bloody minute, and you've just give all the other civilians $1,000 to live on for 3 months, which no person could ever do, and you think that's okay. So the big business get the handouts in seconds, and you haven't in decades not been able to sort out the poor, deprived communities. You've not been bothered to put any money in, but it's all there because you've just shown it when you give it big business. And we are like that in Britain.
We've done the same, haven't we?
We have done the same in Britain, we give little handouts, little universal credit. We've got a bit of money we've forgot to tell you about, guys. It's in the back. Oh, you have that, you have that, you have that. And then, again, when it's big business struggling, boom, we can save you, you're all right. Because we need big business, so important. Bollocks. It does get me riled.
It's really, really frustrating. It really is.
Yeah, so that's what I was sort of just saying about there is, like, I've changed my surrounding. I'm working for myself a bit more. I'm going into education and trying to implement them sort of ideologies or beliefs, or just let people know, you know what you've got to do in this surrounding. Be your own person, be your own boss, and find a passion and run with it, and don't let anybody take that off you, because they'll try and, as you know, when I said education, you flick your eyes it's one of them systems. It's part of the machine, and it's part of the rat race.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've got to try and implement good philosophies out of it, haven't you? You've got to try and go, you know what, sometimes you can't be the only person fighting against it and shouting out, but if you change your own little world and go inside a little bit and then meet them communities, you can achieve a lot more then. You've got to go away a bit first.
Yeah, ma'am.
Sorry.
I'm just agreeing with you. I'm just like,
it's just me getting this platform to just go,
really know what to
right,
say.
fight the power.
Yeah, you're all right, Marky. So many questions to answer.
What was like the march like when you went in Derby?
Oh my God, yeah, it was really, really good. So obviously we had the march in Derby. I'm just thinking about what the newspapers were saying and stuff. But anyway,
tell me, man, because
I'll start. So I'll go from the beginning. So the march was it was brilliant. Obviously it was set up. It was only like 3 days before that they thought that they organised it. We had a massive turnout. I'm not sure. I think the paper said about 1,500, but I'm sure it was more than that.
Yeah. Already trying to belittle it.
Yeah, exactly. All the way through, kind of the advertising, it was just advertised on social media, was about the fact that it is peaceful. Do you know what I mean? Anyone that's not aren't welcome.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And also very important to be wearing a mask, gloves, because of the coronavirus, of course. But it was just really beautiful. The police, I didn't see one police person at all, apart from when they came to block the road, so that we could stand up. It was outside the council house. Yeah. And then also when we did a march around the town centre, they kind of were in front, so that we weren't disturbing the traffic, and they were stopping the traffic and things like that. And everyone just was as one. It felt great. People did speeches. We took a knee at the end, and it was just really, really powerful. I cried. Obviously, loads of people were crying because it was just
connection.
It's just mad. Especially when we took that knee for that amount of time that he was on the floor.
Oh, mate.
And Lights, who was the main speaker of it, he said the words I can't breathe. Do you know what I mean? While we were all down there.
What was that experience like?
Mad.
That actually, you nearly just got me. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
it
just
was, like,
nearly got me
literally,
there.
like, obviously, we're all on our knees in silence, and it was like, I can't breathe. Mom, I'm dying. You're killing me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's making me fill up. And then after the amount of time, they were
Wow.
like, right, now he's dead. So we all stood up and then just had a minute afterwards in silence. But obviously you watch it and it's awful and it's terrible. But you know, to actually feel how long it is as well down there.
Yeah.
And we're just on one knee and that's hard enough. But I mean, being down there and that's how long it took for him.
I bet it even hurt your knee, do you know, when you're down there?
That's what
like,
I mean.
Yeah, I hate being
just-
down for like 10 seconds, like, genuinely.
Exactly. It was just, yeah, it was really moving. And it's obviously really, really sad. But I find the whole thing also really energizing. It feels like something is going to change. And obviously there's been hundreds of marches throughout, and it's shit when you watch people saying the same things years and years ago that's being said now, and we're still in this situation.
Yeah.
But it just feels like more people have been
Waking up.
yeah
Oh, Yeah.
do you know what I mean? We do a lot of speaking about trying to understand why that is. And I was watching something, there's loads on TV. BBC iPlayer is really good.
Shout out BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, but they've got some really good stuff on there. Look at me looking directly in the camera.
So trained.
Yeah. And people were saying that they think the difference this time is we've seen like the police brutality and unarmed black people mostly disproportionately being killed by the police in America.
Yeah.
But I think because it's like social media and it was just so clear and you could see it all, you could hear all of it, it shouldn't take that for people to feel like something has to change. But I wonder if that is what's got more people connected to it.
The social media aspect.
Yeah, the social media, the fact that people were filmed it on the
Yes,
phones and then more people saw it, and it's the whole clip, and the fact that you are seeing it so close, and so people feel more connected to it as a human experience.
The local healers were on here talking about just that as well. Yeah.
Rather than a black problem.
Yeah.
It's
it was so shocking to watch. Like, I remember the moment I saw the video, and it was one of them. It hadn't been out very, I don't know, long. It happened on that day. I think I watched it, and again somebody shared it, started streaming like that, and I thought, oh, I'll click that, and it was so visually disturbing to watch. You couldn't actually believe this was happening, and it exposed such a thing that's the paradox, isn't it, with social media? It showed it, exposed it, people are talking, how quick it caught fire. I think that's amazing, and I love the peaceful marches. I love the people that have come together. I think this change is happening, change is inevitable, change is the only thing that's constant, and there is a lot to come out of this. And the one thing is, like, people are arguing at the minute about the semantics. They are arguing on them levels where do you know what I was saying earlier about the guns in the right direction, ready to go at where they need to?
Excuse me, yeah.
So suddenly you start to see people shift and go, no, you're wrong here. Oh, and you're wrong there. And it was like, hang on, guys, no. Remember the big issue, the systematic racism issue that we're all looking at here, because this is a thing. Focus everyone, because it was the arguments started to arise, and it was good-hearted people, really good-hearted people, and then as soon as they did start using the wrong terminology or sharing the wrong hashtag or something, I was getting a little bit worried for this is going to slip, because it always slips when people join teams. Then they start to get on sides, and it's like on that march when you were feeling that moment, the reason something was happening is because everyone was connected, everyone was a part of something, and as soon as it switches, it's like, bloody hell, guys, we need to keep on focus. That's my view.
I mean, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on much social media, only on my Instagram,
right?
Because it's fun, because I'm like, so I make a conscious effort not to read all of that, but like lots of my friends have said, well, it's just negative, isn't it? What am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with that negativity that I feel after I've read it? I'll just feel angry, and then what? So, but yeah, like a lot of my friends have said they've had to be commenting on so much, like, again, like you say, because someone will say so. Like, I have read comments. So when the protest was covered in is it the Telegraph, Derby? I don't know.
Yeah, Derby Telegraph, yeah.
When it was covered in that, I read some of the comments at the bottom. And it just baffles me. And again, the anger, because people are like, why are we doing it in England? It's an American problem. This doesn't happen in England.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
What? But it's just a lack of education.
Yes.
Complete lack of education on the whole matter, on all of it when it comes to race.
And when people go and speak of education, what you think of is young teenagers or little kids, but education just needs to change towards adults as well, and all layers of education. We need to look at all areas of life and how people can learn, because it's not their fault as well, like a lot of the time. They've been put in a conditioned system that is. So I think, again, we need to be more true on mental health. There's stuff in school that we're learning, and let's just jump in a bit of education here, but I really don't care about algebra. Never have. And I've literally, everything I've learned at school erased as soon as the moment I got out of there, it went. And I think my friend knows that the capital is the capital of Brazil is Brasilia. That's something school told me, and I've never done anything with that. It's true, yeah. But that's the one piece of information. There's something else, I can't remember what that is now, so that's gone. But there was no emphasis or focus on being nice to one another. There was so much bullying in our school. There was so much like hatred sometimes, and then the emphasis on science, maths, English, intellect drilling into you all the time. And it was like these emotional connections, these like, why do we feel a certain way towards these people around my community? Why is there no like black people in my community? Where's this transcend from? What is happening? You don't get told anything.
No, I know. It's a bit difficult at the moment as well in terms of this, because it's all like homeschooling. I've got a 14-year-old and she's very outspoken, and I'll try and get us to do her work, and she's like, why do I need to know that? When's that ever going to be relevant? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But they keep sending me emails.
The curiosity from it. Yes, yeah.
Like, when am I ever going to use that in my life? And
there's got to be a radical shift towards
really
how we're teaching the young people and people that have grown out of this system, but like the young people in particular. And again, for me, like, I go into these schools and there are good people at heart that are trying their best, but they have to hit quotas. They have to hit their certain grades, or that they'll lose their jobs. They'll like be kicked out of that position straight away. So that I don't blame teachers.
No, it's not the teacher's fault, is it? They have to follow the curriculum.
It's systems. Set by the systems in place.
Top people.
Yeah. What we keep jumping to. Me and you are going to go and give them nuggies later. Oi, what are you doing, you?
Oppress everybody and pit each other against them. Again, like in school, it's very competitive, isn't it? It's all about the league tables. That's all they're bothered about.
And so what I was just touching on now as well, and I love the word touching on. I always use it and I just reflect. I'm like, stop saying touching on. But that's what I mean. In these communities and areas like Ripley, Ilkeston, Heenard, it's not their fault a lot of the time as well, so we do have to use the elements of compassion that we've got inside to understand. And what you're missing out on a little bit, and I'm glad you're missing out on this, but on Facebook and these platforms, the tirade of abuse they get when they say something that would be seen as what's the word, naive. Naivety. There's a lot of naivety, and there's a lot of like lack of education there.
And it's not about that. It's not about shooting someone down and saying, no, you dickheads, what you want about, because that just then makes them feel more
it broadens the gap.
You know what I mean? Because everyone's got their own, it's a lot of it's about kind of it's not even race really, is it? It's kind of class. Is class the right word?
Yeah, class is
poverty, isn't it? But anyway, what was I going to say? It's not about starting an argument, because nothing in life should be about starting an argument.
Gets achieved from that either.
Nothing. It's all about sharing knowledge, isn't it? And helping lift everybody else up, so we're all on a higher level.
Keep watching on micro scales what like the macro the world is doing. And like I go to see friends and they're all cool and everyone's on level and they're having a drink and it's beautiful, and then they get in debate, and then the problem is people want to be right all the time. They're just so adamant on being right, so then they just start trying to get points, and there's no nuance in discussion, so there's no grey area. It's just there's a black and there's a white, and you need to agree with me or you're part of the problem. And you can start using these phrases that are quite damaging, because I'm not part of the problem. I'm actually a nice person, and I'll join the fight at any stage that I'm needed, if you allow me to learn and allow me to work this out and allow me to have these discussions and be incorrect and be corrected, and I'll move with that and learn. But if you just shoot me down every step of the way, I'm not joining. Like in any part of life, in any debate, in any discussion, I'm just like, I'm out. Because it's not my ego. It's just I don't want to be part. I want a world worth fighting for, essentially, and that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, and then part of that is on an intellectual level, where you can be like, no, that doesn't read right in my mind. That's not the way to learn. But a lot of that is instinct as well.
Yeah,
You know,
completely agree.
Yeah.
We're sorting the world right out today.
Man.
I can see me and you doing a little collab song, I reckon.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get like everything, what we've done in an hour and a bit, we'll be getting in a 2-minute song.
Oh my God, that'd be well hard. So many different topics. To cover, it's hard.
Are you, in your line of work, in your job, are you seeing a different clientele coming in now? Are you seeing a different patient that you're working with because of the situation now, like Corona, Black Lives Matter movement? Are you meeting people that are struggling more so, or no? Interestingly,
but what this has all done, I feel like there's a bit of shame within me that I didn't actually know enough about kind of black history and the stats about the inequalities and stuff that are still here. So I've done a lot of research on issues in mental health when it comes to specifically black minorities. We talk about black and ethnic minorities, that's what everyone thinks about, but if you look at the stats for black people, and I do see this, black people are 7 times more likely to suffer with psychosis.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 times more likely to be detained under the Mental Health Act than a white person. Something like 13 times more likely to be given a diagnosis of a major mental health disorder.
Really?
Yeah. And then with that comes the fact that then you put on medications that kill you.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you read the research, a lot of it is racial bias, unfortunately. It's where it comes from, unconscious.
How so?
Sure. So, for instance, a black person that's acting bizarrely in the street will be perceived as more dangerous than a white counterpart. When you say things like that, I never thought of it like that, but I can imagine it. And it's sad because I see it in work. So I'll be sat in a team meeting, someone will say, oh yeah, I went round their house, I didn't dare go in, I just went in, it was this big black guy in there in the dark, and it was scary. What the fuck are you on about?
The power of words, isn't it? How we use them.
No one says anything, and I never said anything. I was like, shouldn't I?
I must admit, I've heard that a lot. Do you know, there was a big black guy?
Yeah.
I have genuine, now when you've said that, I'm actually reflective of, that terminology, that just something as simple as that and way of being. It's a friend of mine explained in education the power of words and how you can speak to people. This is something a bit different, but he said to one person you might go, oh, and when you go to university, and then another person who was probably me went, and if you go to university, if and when, and that actually literally changed the way of that person's mentality, and just the small wording. But
it's crazy. But it's really sad, so I'm determined to do something about it anyway. I want to, I've been doing lots of research, in some areas are really good at, finding ways to tackle it, because it's not just in terms of kind of the inequalities in the mental health care for black people. It's not just about the way the staff and the services need to change. It's also within black communities, they don't want to speak about it. They're more reluctant to talk about it because of a fear of what may happen, and obviously because there have been negative outcomes in the past. Lots of black people die in mental health hospitals while they're being restrained by police, things like that, you know. So
do you
it's a way
think
to get people to talk in the communities as well and feel more able.
Approaching it head on and even having like black community groups solely for them people to come and talk. Yep. Do you think that's a good way of approaching it? Because obviously you hear the argument where it's like, oh, well, when you're focusing on it, it makes it more of a problem. But you believe, no, bring it on.
Well, that's the same as like when I'm a mental health nurse, by the way. I don't even think we said that, did we? But that's my job.
Yeah, I think slipped it in, but yeah.
But it's the same as like when people used to be scared if you're assessing somebody or someone's self-harming or they're suicidal or they've been abused. Like, just because you don't tackle it head on doesn't make it go away. It's important to tackle it head on and shine a light on it and normalise it, or, you know, as part of the human experience. I think you need to.
I do completely agree with you, and I suppose this is one of them conversations where there is a lot of scope and a lot of area to walk down. That's the one thing that I've worried with people. When we expose a problem, we want utopia straight away. We want change right now. Everything needs to be fixed. And it's like, right, guys, evolutionary speaking, we're going in the right direction at least. We're not in the worst time of humanity right now. We're at a better stage. Yeah. And I think this now, like the peaceful marches, people coming together, information being shared so quickly and freely and accessible, everybody can see it, and it's going well. People want change right now, but one thing with what you were just talking about, like for me, I didn't know what anxiety was before, and I used to get like nervous, and I suppose that's a natural emotion, a human emotion. But then I got into the anxiety. Somebody told me I had it. And then quite quickly it exacerbated it for me.
Did it?
It did, yeah. It made me really aware of it. And then I was like, right, I'm anxious. I'm going into anxiety. I'm having and that's somewhat I've had friends have discussions with me about that. Yeah. And they've also experienced it. So then when you look at statistics, and again, statistics are, how do you measure mental health? How can you measure happiness? Because they're all sort of subjective. But when we're looking at statistics towards that, we're at the highest rates of male suicide now. We're at the highest rates of anxiety levels. The statistics that keep coming out, it's like, whoa, I can't believe it. And power to your job and power to you. And I love what you're on about.
Let me just go back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
It's not always about saying, oh, you've got anxiety and putting a label on it. But we can we can help you to understand why you're feeling how you're feeling. Right. You don't need to think, oh, I've got anxiety.
Yeah. You
need to think, oh, I feel really fearful. Oh, I'm shaking. Yeah. And then understand why that is. And then you can address it. I understand why we have diagnoses.
Yeah.
But I don't really like them.
Okay.
Because they just try and fit people into boxes that they don't fit into.
And there are some cases where it is good to, I suppose, like when you really address somebody that's going through the absolute top level of psychosis, or somebody that really is experiencing anxiety to the point they can't live their lives anymore. Yeah. Then it's great that we've got structure in place to help them people. I was just, because it's more in the media, more in the social spectrum, everybody can call themselves anxious. I suffer with anxiety, I suffer with depression, and can label themselves so freely now. It's quite tricky to quantify. And then that just made me feel, when I went to schools, I was just so surprised with the amount of people who had anxiety, or this person's got depression, or this person's got this problem. And it was like, sometimes do you think these young people are just feeling natural human emotion but have found ways to attach themselves to them?
I think it's all natural human emotion. Basically, everything is, because being human's hard, isn't it? It is. That's what I always say to people. It's hard, man. Of course you feel like shit. Do you know what I mean? But what can we do to try and help that? And I don't know in terms of the young people, because I've never worked in children's mental health, so I can't kind of say from first-hand experience, but I've heard a lot about that. Like when I've listened to podcasts and stuff, people saying that it can kind of
can it exacerbate it and become a trend? Yeah, because that's what I worried about. We got into this through Black Lives Matter, and that's what I worried people were getting on, and people even accused me of it when I feel my intentions are quite pure and honest, and I'm quite aware of my conscious behaviour, but being part of a trend and being part of something to fit into a box, and then you give it a few weeks, you give it a month, and it jumps away, and people want to be part of things a lot of the time, and I don't know, it can really make you question intentions, and it can make you question like why people feel so passionately for a moment in time and then leave it or whatever.
It's just important that we don't do that.
Yeah,
isn't it? And there's a lot that we're doing in Derby anyway. There's quite a few of us that are making sure that we're not just having it as this moment and looking at things that can be done to actually make change.
What sort of things are they looking at doing then? What sort of things do you...
I can't really go into details.
Okay, no, they're the hidden ideas, but no, it's basically bringing community together, bringing
and looking at, and also on a higher level, like in terms of what can be changed in education, what needs to change, and in healthcare, and at the higher levels, and what's being done elsewhere. And trying to learn from those areas where it's working well as well, but just making sure that it isn't, the momentum just needs to keep going, doesn't it? We need to make sure it isn't just, right, this is happening, I've seen that, it's absolutely terrible, but now I'm watching Hollyoaks.
So are you an optimist? Are you an optimist in all this crazy world we're in?
I'm a realist.
Yeah. What's the difference there? I want to know.
I don't just think that everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope. Yeah, I think we have to have a level of optimism, don't we? Because otherwise...
What's the point?
Yeah.
That's my idea. Yeah, you not fight for anything if you were just a pessimist in all walks of life, in all areas of what's going on. I hate people. What's the point of people? And you hear that a lot. The world's shit. Why would I bring kids into this world? I know. It's like, well, maybe... be that change you want to see. Get out there.
You are the world, We are.
We are
the world.
I knew we'd be getting into singing. Everyone's got the lighters at home. What sort of music are you into?
Music am I into?
Because listening to your music, when you start rapping and you start going in like quite hard, and it's like there's a Karina vibe, and then suddenly you just start singing some like Michael Jackson style, beautiful, like I've heard. Well, I just like the I don't like the person, but I'm just on about the music.
Separate the person from the music.
Yeah,
that's another debate.
Well, I had this discussion literally the other day, and do you think something? Let's talk on Michael Jackson's front.
Yeah.
Somebody of such a movement, such an archetypal sound that can't be recreated really, like Prince, like David Bowie, these sort of musical what do you call them, like top form people, they're at the top of the tiers, and then he created this sound that has so like there's sort of science behind it, do you know what I mean? The sound that he created was like something that touched people that hadn't been before. So look at me like that. But and then when you can, and then when you find out about his history and X, Y, and Z, but that science created, that added to the ether, that added to like so many musicians' ways of being, so many different ideas were thought of after that. So that's my separation, is like there was so much created from that.
Yeah.
And the terrible actions from that person. And sorry to say you had Michael Jackson style to you, but no, you've got like a voice that can do something I couldn't dream of doing. So that's what I was about. I was like, wow.
But do you listen to Michael Jackson still?
I definitely, like when he comes on, like.
No, I couldn't. See, I couldn't. Now I'm knowing that.
Just a kick to it.
Same as that R. Kelly.
I mean, no, it makes me feel sick, and when it comes on, my mind goes to the person, but then my other side of mind goes to the art that was created, and it's something other that they've managed to achieve, and that other isn't their ego, that other is something that they had inside them that is part of the universe, part of like...
Yeah. get it, but yeah, I can't.
I know what you say. I do know what you're saying.
Same as I can't listen to Gary Glitter because he was always one of my favourites.
Really? No. I was going to say, well, it might have been his lyricism or something. I thought, what's so good about him? I don't know enough of his stuff.
So what was the initial question?
The initial question was like, when you do it, like, with your... What is your style of music? Because first you're rapping and then suddenly you do some beautiful song in the middle of it.
People always say, what kind of music do you do? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I just do whatever comes out.
It is that.
The point was literally whatever comes out.
Is that from, first of all, your dad and him being a performance poet and seeing that? Okay, so
yeah. So did we speak about that yet, or was that
no? That was at the first 2 minutes. The wasp was getting for you.
So I'll say it again, even though we've spoken about it earlier. So I was saying, like, obviously, I got into writing and music initially when I was about 10 because my stepdad was a performance poet. So like every weekend, him, my mum and I would do poetry workshops where we'd like be given he'd give us a different subject to write about, and then we'd write it and then recite it to each other. And also I was performed in a lot of his pieces as well, like at fringe festivals and stuff.
So cool.
And as I was saying as well, like his background was like he was a punk, skinhead, heroin addict, alcoholic,
activist, like as well, like, or trying to be with the punk scene. That's what comes to mind.
I don't think so.
Anarchism.
Yeah, I don't think he was an activist, to be fair. But yeah, a lot of it was all like very dark, but it was all very real and raw.
Yeah,
like everything. There was nothing. He certainly wasn't trying to say things that he thought people would just to get fans. If you know what I mean.
I definitely.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic.
Doing his honest self.
It was literally just him being straight to the point.
Quite a lot of demons in his...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Makes a good poet.
Just told you, he was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always I guess that, to me, that is what it should always be when you're writing. It's just honesty. There's no point otherwise. I'm never interested in... I mean, that's a lie. I was going to say I don't like music where the lyrics are shit, and it doesn't mean anything because I do like some of it because it's got a good bop.
Give me that yummy, 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 yummy. Yeah. What do you mean?
Although Justin Bieber's got some tunes.
He has, man.
He has, I'm not going to lie.
Well, the one I was in Australia at the time, and it was always played, but it's like, I'd like to be everything you... And it was just let me be your boyfriend. I used to go around and sing it on ukulele, thinking I was a little Justin Bieber.
No, he's made some bangers. But yeah, so that's where my when I started writing. So yeah, it's always been a very honest thing about just what I'm feeling. It's always been a cathartic experience, therapeutic experience for me. And like I was saying to you before we were recording, it's something that I can't not do.
Always followed you around
just
with you.
Happens.
Yeah.
All the time I'm writing.
Yeah.
Like, non-stop, all the time in my head.
In your head as well.
Yeah, I don't write anything down.
Do you keep hold of it as well?
I don't
that's
write
for later. That
down.
is.
Never. So I write, and I think that's why it's been a bit hard to write as well, you know, during lockdown, because I normally write when I'm driving around. Okay. Do
you have like a beat on or anything, or do you just sit in silence?
Yeah, I'll have like instrumental. I've got an instrumental from a producer.
Yeah,
so if I've got stuff that we're going to be laying, I'll play it in my car on loop, and I'll just write it. But I've not been driving around.
Yeah,
I can't just sit. I could sit and write a poem, but like when it comes to music, I don't know. It
needs to be bopping.
It needs to be kind of. It's very easy to get too much in your head, I think, and concerned about what comes next or the structure. I think I like to just be free.
You seem like quite a thinker.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a thinker. So when you're sat at home stagnant, you're like, maybe too many thoughts are coming to you.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, right, okay, I give up.
Yeah, exactly. Never Hollyoaks.
Simpsons.
No. Yeah, but somewhat on TV. Documentary.
Yeah. Is it cult documentaries?
I don't watch that many, to be fair.
The best one I watched was have you heard of Jim Jones?
I don't think I have.
He made Jonestown, and this is like what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I recognise that.
What can happen? It was the one where they have you heard of the Kool-Aid? And they had one anthrax. It's like he put a cyanide or something in all the Kool-Aid, and he took them all over to this town. And as soon as they exposed like this was a horrible cult where he was doing terrible like Satanist practices and whatnot, he just basically did a pack suicide with, I think it was like 900 people.
What?
Yeah, in our lifetime. It's crazy, isn't it? And we don't hear these things.
What's it called again?
It's Jonestown. It's crazy. But the whole...
I'm going to watch that.
I'll give it you after. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
But the whole sort of just breakdown of it and how it started, just this guy who had such good character, again started things out with great principle. Why people like rich people who sort of get to that point in life, like still what's the point? They don't know what existence is. I think that there's a diagnosis called affluenza, the search for purpose, and they can't, because they've had it all and they still feel the emptiness. They just reach for cults and reach for...
Yeah, that's what you get in terms of like suicide stats. It's like the top and the bottom, the highest, the ones that have got everything, seemingly wealth, and then the ones at the poorest.
Ones that feel they can't get anything out of it. Yeah, I think to always be involved in the hustle, to always be involved in the trying to better self or trying to better your passion or find more passion or something, it's... good to see yourself as never stopping, isn't it? Like I've got to a stage in my life where I was like, right, I've learned too much now. I know it all. I've got my lessons.
Done.
I've done my passion. I've hurt my knee now. I can't do my football. It was all game over for me for a bit. But the moment it was like, oh, here's a passion. Here's something new. Here's another lesson. Here's something. I always see myself as part of the cycle now. I can always adapt and learn. Yeah, for those people, they just clinch towards that spiritual otherness. If it becomes a person saying they know more or they know extra, because the know is in everybody, it's in me, it's in you, it's in Chrissy, it's in everybody we meet. There's the answers there, like we said at the start, the chess, you're sitting on it. The spirituality is in you. As soon as it's somebody else telling you, you need to get to this level of my superiority, or it can't be attained without sleeping with me or something. It always gets to in a cult fashion. But that was one documentary where every step of the way you're like, what? And then you're like, no.
Oh, I can't wait.
You did what? It's so good, Karina. I feel like I've given you a night ahead of yourself now. Jonestown, you're going to be absolutely stuck.
What's it on though?
I think it's on YouTube now, to be honest. You can just find it. First of all, it's on iPlayer, BBC iPlayer as well, so you're going to be sound. Don't you worry about that.
Because you start running out of stuff to watch now, because obviously we've been in lockdown.
Do you want to do a swap documentary for me? Do you want to tell me something I need to jump on?
I can't think of it. I'm absolutely terrible.
Put you on the spot there.
I can never think, like, of examples, same as, like, films and things. I'm really bad at it. Sorry, no, I can't.
I'm definitely the same.
If I think of something, I'll tell you.
So, what is next for you then? Where are your next steps? Is it going into work? Like you're going into work mode now? You're happy with that? The music side of things?
So, I'm happy to be back working normally in the community. Like we can go and visit people and stuff now. So that's really good because I thrive there. I need to be busy, like I say. I love helping people. It's and again, even though you're providing kind of the therapeutic relationship to them, it's kind of reciprocated as well because you're helping people and you're using your brain on the spot. So obviously that's one avenue. Trying to keep up with this stupid homeschooling is one thing that's been on my mind as well. In terms of music, I'm starting to be able to write again now, although I had that feeling where I wasn't. And like you said before, you're not the first person to say it's important to just do it as a passion because it's something that you're passionate about, and not overthink it, not worry too much.
You never want to get to that part of your life or stage where you regret not just doing it because of the love of it.
Mate, I know.
Yeah.
And I get into them phases.
Yeah.
And then I get depressed. I get depression. So then I'll go into a depressive episode. And then
have you searched into your soul and psyche of why you feel that?
I know, but yeah, we're not going to go into
that.
No,
yeah. You don't need a therapy session right now from old Mikey Markham.
Not in front of all of these people.
Yeah. No, respect it.
No,
though.
I understand. I've got a very, very good understanding of my schemas, as we call them, like in terms of childhood events and then other events growing up, and and the way that I viewed myself, and I understand why I feel.
And did you go into your role and position and job because of such a battle with your mental health for self?
I didn't start training till I was 26. I always wanted to do. Well, initially I just wanted to do my music, but then I had a kid, and then I was just doing gigs, and I was like, yeah, I need a job.
I
need money for this. So I was thinking, what can I do? And I was going to do counselling first.
Okay.
I was always interested in mental health. To go back to your question, lots of my family members suffer with mental health, like serious mental health problems. So I was always interested in it. And I guess as well, like you say, because I had an understanding, I knew that I'd be able to be empathic and relate to people.
A lot of my writings or poems or journeys come from because I'm suffering with it myself, I want to go into it, write about it with purpose for that, but then I've done all that learning, and then I can come out at the end of it and help others with that. That seems to be...
It's a wonderful feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. I know a lot, because I do know a lot of my friends that have gone into mental health and coaching and mental coaching and motivational talks and whatever, but always it's because they've been through so much and experienced such suffering.
Most people that I work, the majority, they might not say it openly, but a lot of them have had experience themselves, either with themselves or family. Do you know what I mean? I find it a lot.
Very admirable. Beautiful people.
You're all right.
And again, I've been to doing my job, I go to schools or different places and give talks and give workshops, but you also see a lot of speakers and keynote speakers, and some are incredible, but then you can see the ones that are just doing it for a pay packet, and they're not actually talking about an experience or a story or anything they've been through. They're just relaying stuff they've heard from another motivational speaker, and they've got a good way of keeping knowledge or attaining information, and then they're just recycling it, and you can feel it straight away.
Definitely.
I suppose it's the same with music. When somebody's not talking their truth and just spewing out shit, you know when it's happening.
You do. But so work, obviously, music, and then again trying to make this change that we can in Derby in terms of the black.
And we can.
That needs. Oh, yeah, of course we can. Of course we can. And all the youngsters are on it as well,
Sounds like an optimistic to me.
Like an optimist.
Yeah. Beautiful. Right. So, Karina, where can people find you again, just to remind the audience?
Okay, at the moment, or you can just see my stuff on Instagram, like I say, but that's just freestyles. There will be actual music coming out soon, I promise.
Yeah?
I promise.
And a film.
I'm going to do it, and a film. But on Instagram, I'm Karina C. Win.
Karina C. Win. Guys, thank you for being a part of the Back of the Bus sessions on the Old Farm Bus. I really appreciate all of you. If you're still here, hello, how you doing? Now, you know how to be in touch. Comment the description. I'm going to leave some links to where you can find Karina, find her music. Hopefully you'll have some stuff out by then as well, and can give you the Spotify and all that sort of stuff. Really appreciate you being here, guys. Peace and love. We're out. Big love, guys.